Hi everyone. My name is Katia. I was born in Ukraine. And today I'm going to tell you exactly how I learned to speak English fluently in just 6 months. Yes, 6 months. And no, I didn't move to an English-speaking country. I didn't spend thousands of dollars, and I definitely didn't study 10 hours a day. This is going to be an honest story, not just about what I did right, but also about the mistakes I made and how I fixed them. Whether you're just starting or you've been learning for a while, I think this will help you. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let me take you back to the beginning. 6 months ago, I barely spoke any English. I knew the basics. Hello, how are you? Maybe some grammar rules from school, but I couldn't hold a conversation. Every time I tried, I felt embarrassed, slow, and frustrated. But then something changed. I got a job offer that required English. It wasn't just about a better salary, it was a chance to work on international projects. That was my wake-up call. I had 6 months before the position would open. That became my goal. Speak English confidently in 6 months. Now, I'm the kind of person who needs structure. So I made a plan, nothing fancy, but realistic. I focused on 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But most importantly, I made speaking my top priority. Here's the basic weekly routine I followed. Listening, 1 hour a day, podcasts, YouTube series. Speaking, 30 to 60 minutes a day, language exchange, shadowing. Reading, 15 to 20 minutes, articles, stories. Writing, 10 to 15 minutes, journaling, short texts. I also kept a language diary to track my progress, write new words, and reflect on what worked. Listening was my foundation. I wanted my brain to hear English all the time. I started with podcasts like The English We Speak, ESL Pod, and even some native-level shows with subtitles. At first, I understood maybe 20%, and that's okay. I listened every day while cooking, walking, even brushing my teeth. The key: consistency. I also used YouTube channels like Speak English with Vanessa and BBC Learning English. I didn't study the audio. I just let the language surround me. Over time, I began to recognize patterns, phrases, and expressions naturally. Speaking was the scariest part and the most important. I knew that if I didn't speak, I wouldn't improve. So I joined a free language exchange app. Tandem and HelloTalk were my favorites. I started with text chats, then voice messages, and finally video calls. I made real friends from around the world. I also practiced shadowing, listening to a sentence and repeating it aloud immediately. I did this every day with short videos and TED Talks. At first, I sounded terrible. But slowly, my pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence improved. Reading was less stressful and more relaxing for me. I started with children's books, then short stories, and later articles from websites like VOA Learning English and News in Levels. I used an app called LinkU to highlight and save new words. But I didn't try to understand every single word. If I could understand the meaning of a paragraph, I kept going. Over time, reading helped me build vocabulary and understand grammar and context, not as boring rules. Writing helped me organize my thoughts and review what I learned. I kept a journal where I wrote short paragraphs about my day, my thoughts, or something I'd learned. I used tools like Grammarly to correct mistakes, and sometimes I asked my language partners to review them. Writing improved my grammar and helped me remember vocabulary better. Plus, it made me feel more connected to the language. Of course, it wasn't always easy. There were weeks when I felt like I wasn't improving at all. I made the same mistakes. I forgot words I'd just learned. I even thought, maybe I'm not talented enough for languages. but I kept going. And you know what? Every plateau was followed by a breakthrough. Usually after a few frustrating days, suddenly something would click. I'd understand a whole episode without subtitles or have a 30-minute conversation with no Google Translate. Patience is part of the process. 6 months later, I had that job interview, and I did it entirely in English. I was nervous, of course, but I understood every question and expressed myself clearly. And yes, I got the job. But more importantly, I gained confidence. I could now travel, watch movies, read books, and connect with people all over the world in English. I didn't become perfect, but I became fluent. And that was more than enough. So, can you learn English in 6 months? Absolutely. But only if you make it part of your daily life. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just consistent. Speak a little every day. Listen a little every day. Trust the process. Here are my final 3 tips. 1. Don't wait to be ready to speak. Start now. 2. Make English part of your routine, like brushing your teeth. 3. Enjoy the journey. Make it fun. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you or inspired you, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who's learning English. And tell me in the comments, what's your biggest challenge in learning English right now? See you in the next one.